You're listening to Dark City Radio Live, and this is your host Dawn from the Darkcity Crew. Tune in at www.darkcityradio.com. You can find us by searching Dark City Radio on Facebook or Twitter.
I have to channel the spirit. All right, let's see here.
This is not our radio. This is your radio. Dark City Radio.
Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn, it's a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. So if you want the truth, go to
Dark City Radio.
And this is the Dark City Show. Welcome once again on Dark City Radio. I hope you like that. That was our new little jingle. We've all slapped together the big chunk in the middle with the music and the dead professional bit. That was put together by Count Vosto. So yeah, good stuff. Big thanks all round to that. Shows over the last 2 days, or over the last week really. Amazing response. So yeah, brilliant. What can I say? Tonight we're going to kick it off with jokingly today. What was I calling him today? The auto orange hippie, the orange auto hippie. The legendary, that was it. We're going to kick it off with the legendary orange auto hippie. So, Prajna, Cali, from the secret location, hidden out, very secretly, in a secret place, that secret that nobody knows where they are. So I'll kick the ball over to you two. Joe, just before I do, we've got Ty on with us, we've got Rakmiester on with us, the legendary Count Vosto, and, of course, our hardcore new interviewer, I'm going to call her an interrogator, Dawn, now known as Dawn of the Dark City. Anyway, that's me done. Over to you, Prajna.
But I can't, I'm eating.
Yeah, I've just made our dinner.
But that's what it's like. We're so professional on this radio station that we just get on and eat.
You see what Paul does, what Bobsbackyard, Bob does is he basically says, right, Callie, you're going to interview Andy after this break. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right, go. And he's just said to us right before coming on, he said, Prajna, you're kicking it off tonight. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There we are.
And he doesn't even say, are there any questions or anything?
Or what do you want to talk about? Anything like that.
I'll tell you what to talk about. That show last night was a cracker, wasn't it?
It was brilliant, yeah. Really dynamite. Yeah, really enjoyed every minute of it. I think I particularly enjoyed Stacey, but that was in the Dark City show after Dom's show, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dom's show was fantastic. I loved Holograph. And it's so nice just to get these diverse opinions and perspectives as well, and for everybody to be given an equal voice.
We had our own holograph at the camp, didn't we? Do you remember? He used to come along and actually came along. Well, it came along to see us once.
It wasn't holograph though. It wasn't
holograph.
Called Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy Chris turns up and he's sweet and asks lots of interesting questions and so on. And so we had a good chat with him, and then he went away. And the next thing is our blog lit up with all these comments, trolled to bits.
Yeah, and it was Chris.
So I basically said, come and say that to my face, and bless him, he did.
He did. Yeah. Respect where it's due. Completely clueless, this guy, poor guy, just like Hollow was asking last night about this vaccine conspiracy theory. as if it's a theory with absolutely no backing at all.
Yeah.
Well, Chris had no idea about the dangers of vaccine. He'd done absolutely no research whatsoever before having these vaccines injected into his 5-year-old daughter.
3-year-old she was.
The most important and precious thing in his life. So I began with the basics and said, well, look, okay, you're just basically taking the doctor's word for it that this is for your daughter's own good. You say she's the most precious thing in your life, and yet you haven't done even the slightest bit of research just to verify, just to set your own mind at rest that the doctor's right. And you know what? The doctor's actually wrong. The doctor's feeding you received wisdom, and you're sharing this received wisdom all over the place. Now go away and please, for her sake, do some research. But he never came back again, did he?
Never did.
We invited him back once he'd done some research, but he never came back, which is a shame. But anyway.
Yeah.
You can't just say yeah on the radio,
Well,
baby.
you can.
Well, you can, but it's not good radio.
Yeah, but look, there's all these people. There's Dawn. There she is. See?
Yeah, there's Paul Bob.
There's Paul Bob who can talk.
Yeah, and I
There's
am
Jim.
Ty,
Every
or
now
Jim.
and again, you manage to get a few words out of him as well.
Yeah.
Can I just point out, whoever's just tried to ring in, please ring in again. I got up, walked into my kitchen, and I missed your call. So whoever that is out there, please try again. Thank you.
That's just not good enough. You're supposed to be here all the time. You're not supposed to go up and have a convenience break. That's not allowed.
Well, it's come up. We've had two.
What happened?
I wasn't going to mention we've had two because I've missed two of them. Excuse me. I do suspect it's the same person.
Right, off to your corner.
Dawn, what happened today when you happened to look at another page on Facebook that wasn't a Dark City page, and you got accused of not being properly dedicated to Dark City?
Facebook doesn't like me.
It doesn't
That's
like
all
you
I'm
at the
saying.
moment, does it?
Today, does it?
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't like anyone, I don't think. It just tolerates them from time to time.
I think it might be a good idea right now, rather than just waffling. We've got Vosto on, haven't we? And we've got, what is it, Rakmiester?
Rakmiester.
I've met Vosto before in the chat. I've never come across Rakmiester.
And you all know Vosto because you hear him on the links on the jingles. But yeah.
Absolutely stupid jingles he's coming out with, aren't they? Are you there, Vosto?
Yes, I think I am, yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vosto. I do a lot of music stuff and soundtracks, music, voice recording, sound editing, effects creator, I don't know. I do a lot of stuff. I'm Vosto.
Well, I know you want to make more jingles, don't you, Vosto?
Yeah,
but yeah, was it
voices.
I was asking people to send in some lyrics or some sort of inspirational wordage?
Well, what I want to do now is to edit Dawn's intro because she hasn't got any background, any soundtracks beneath her voice. It's just voice and that's it. I need to put some effects,
So you want to pimp
some music in there. Yeah, I wanna.
Yeah, pimp Dawn's jingle.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna work on some jingles with Zach.
Cool.
If you know Zach, the one with the God Fractal.
Yeah, we played it, Vosto, just before we started the show. So, hey, there I got another brilliant synchronicity. We don't have to rehearse, you see. We get it right anyway. We did just play it, Zach and What Army.
Yeah.
Zach.
Yeah,
That's Zach.
Also,
Yeah, oh,
actually,
Zach and Vosto.
Vosto, would you like to play one of your tracks?
I can't play from my computer right now because I don't have the in the output of the computer put into the input of the Skype. So it's weird. It will not hear anything. But yeah, you can search Vosto on soundcloud.com/VOSTO or on YouTube with the same name. It's easy to find me.
Paul could perhaps pull up a link of one of your songs. If you give him the link, he could pull up a link of one of your songs and just play it on the air.
And it looks like we've just had a net split on the X chat as well.
The chat is destroyed now.
Vosto destroyed it.
No, it was Rakmiester, the hacker of the universe.
Cast a spell. Cast a spell.
Rakmiester the Destroyer.
But for those who are still listening in but have been sidled off into some little group, hopefully it will all come back together again. We get these net splits from time to time.
And they write themselves, do they, babe?
Well, it did last time.
Cool.
Speaking of which,
it's not actually there at the moment, the room, so it is sorting itself out. The channels just fell off, so I don't know what happened there. We've actually lost that chat, but I'm sure it'll sort itself out. It normally does.
Speaking of which, we've got some. I've got some exciting guests lined up for the radio show on the Sunday nights. At the moment, I'm actually waiting to get confirmation of exactly when one of them is coming on, but he has agreed, and he's quite a high-profile guest, so we get some good information, exciting information out of him. That's all I'm saying on that one at the moment.
You're not going to tell us who he is?
No, I'm going to keep it a surprise until I get the date confirmed, really, and maybe near this time I will then reveal who it is.
Oh.
We've got Alexander Penley's going to be coming on 2 weeks on Sunday again, but I'll not tell you exactly what he's going to be talking about yet. We'll leave that now. And on Sunday, as you will be aware, because I've just posted up, we've got the woman coming on, Iris, about permaculture. So that should be really interesting as well. She runs a group for that. So far we've got some guests lined up. So
you guys think
we're actually getting some offers and a lot of people interested in the show lately. So yeah.
What do you guys think of Max Egan? If you want, I can bring him I
love Max Egan.
Yeah, I got it. I got him in my Skype. We can arrange something with him.
I'm just a bit cautious about all this one people's public trust thing, and that's something that Max is pushing as well.
Well, he just heard about it like the rest of us did, and thinks it's a good idea, but maybe he doesn't know. I mean, yeah. I don't think he's not one of the people involved in creating the thing.
No.
He does a lot of activism himself.
He's a very genuine man.
But that's no reason to exclude anyone anyway. It's more reason to include them.
Indeed it is.
If they've got something.
I just want to reiterate something. If anybody has anything, if they want to be a guest on the show, or if they know anyone who has something really worthwhile to say, I'm not mocking people by saying that, but if you're coming on and you've got something you really feel you need to get out, just direct message the page or one of us from the Darkcity Crew, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
And if there's any topics that you'd like us to cover as well, give us a shout.
And also, any questions for the guests? What we're finding is we're having a problem with the chat. Whereas it's getting flooded, there's a lot of kind of debates going on, which is fine, but the questions are getting lost in the chat. So if you have questions for a guest, you'd be better PMing, direct messaging the page, the actual Dark City page. So if you search on Facebook, if you don't have it on Facebook, you just search facebook.com/Dark City Radio, and you can private messages there. We're more likely to see the questions there, and we'll bring them into the Skype so that we can focus on them. and ask questions, obviously, if they're relevant. Obviously, we're looking for relevant questions to ask, because we've only got like an hour or 2 hours on shows, so we can't really go into other subjects time wise. That's all.
Yeah, and Rakmiester, we haven't heard from you yet. Would you like to pop up and say hi to us all?
The world's famous hacker, Rakmiester.
Well, greetings from the Netherlands, and I'm enjoying myself a cup of tea here at the moment, and just listening in, seeing which direction it will go. And I always say, ask the right question, and you may receive. And of course, I always have questions on myself, but it seems the questions I have, not many people have answers on. So it's always a fun
ask me
game.
one of those.
Yeah, ask Prajna one of them.
Okay, here is one. I have to remember myself a symbol, an emblem that I drew when I was a child, in my childhood, at those age, because that's a personal symbol trigger that relates to my stellar heritage.
Right, and you can't remember it?
I have no clue. I even asked my mother, like, do you remember some particular drawings or symbols I drew as a kid? But she also had no clue. And this one has
so you remember that you drew them, but you don't remember what it was that you drew?
No, I was told by Wendy Green, a lady, about that particular symbol that I drew. So she reminded me of it, that I drew it in the past. So now it's up to me to get that recollection back.
Right.
Is Wendy a psychic by any chance?
The only thing I've been advised is an Akashic reader, because I did go to one of those other psychic ones, but they weren't able to help at all. And let me see, she says it as, it is not a symbol you have got from others, but one you drew as a child. Find this symbol again and try to connect to the memory you had that day when you got it. This was the first time he was in contact with you, and on that day, the stellar blueprint of heaven, so to speak, was in alignment with your original stellar home. And that's a part of a comment in relation to me, where she hinted me on this symbol I drew in the past.
And what makes her think you did draw it in the past? What makes her think?
That kind of relates to she runs 3 blogs. One of them is Grid Reports. The other one is the Pangea project. A previous blog from before 21st of December was the Tauser project. And those 3 blogs of her I've been following for the last 8 months or something like that. So we've been in contact in that way also. And she will be on Danja's radio show somewhere in April.
Right. That wasn't the question I wanted you to ask me, though, Rakmiester. I wanted you to ask me one that nobody else knows the answer to, but I know the answer to.
He's need an ego boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the beauty about ad-lib live radio, we don't have any questions set up beforehand. So, but I'll remember that. I'll give you a couple of answers, and then we'll ask you the questions, and you can just pop them out of thin air, like magic.
Do you have to pop up with your answers, though, Paul?
I haven't got any questions, mate.
Yeah, well, there can only be correct answers when there are no questions.
Oh, no, I have had questions. Well, actually, I had one question, which I restructured and asked myself in a multitude of ways. I kept receiving exactly the same answer. I didn't like the answer, so I restructured the question. I think I've done this for about 40 years out of the 48 years that I've been on Earth. So, yeah, I'm not asking myself any more questions. I already know what the answer is,
But I like your style though. Restructuring the question and seeing if the answer comes out any different. That's cool.
It's always the same answer. Often when
what's the point then?
Well, you don't realise that. The point is, you don't realise that you ask yourself, you get the answer, you don't like the answer, you ponder on it, you think of another way to ask the question, ask yourself the question again, and get exactly the same answer. So yeah.
All right. So
after
accept the truth of what is.
Yeah, after a period of time, you begin to start to question the answer. You know. And then the processing begins, where we then process the potential of the answer actually being correct. Unfortunately, this normally takes an entire lifetime for individuals to reach. So I feel quite, I suppose, blessed, the word, that I am able to kind of start to live a life that is true to myself, without questioning myself and everything else continually. So I don't know if it's a technique. I don't know if it's a technique, but yeah, that's my truth.
Well, I've just disconnected my X chat, and I've connected back into the chat, and I'm in a different room than the one I was in, but still no Batman.
Right,
I wonder if anybody understood that.
Well, I did. The Anon chat room. I'm just getting a new list of channels. Is down.
Yeah, I think I need to reconnect also because I'm just with Vosto and Air Wordies.
Yeah, well,
the three of us.
Well, I got Robo with me.
If you are out there listening and you are in chat, there's been an issue with the chat server. So don't worry about that. There's nothing we can do from our end.
If you're on Facebook, you can find our page, Dark City Radio, all one word. So you can contact us via the page, direct message the page, or you can follow us on Twitter. It's just Dark City Radio, again, all one word. So you can message us there. It's probably easier to get us on the Facebook page, to be honest, if you direct message that. Or in the group.
Only because none of us have got a clue about Twitter.
No, it's not that. I'm just not logged in at the moment. So I'll see your messages on the Facebook page before I see anything on the Twitter.
We've had a little bit. If you do want to get involved in chat, just ring us. I'll bring you into the call and you can chat in the Skype box with us as well. That's another way. Just add Bob's Backyard to your Skype. Or alternatively, you can ring 0044 161 298 0298 and just drop the 0044 and put a 0 on the front if you're within the United Kingdom, and we'll drop you into the chat. I was just going to bring Stephen in there, and he must have...
We'll just throw you in at the deep end.
Got offline. Well, they don't have to actually speak, you know, but they will get the chat in the...
Oh, Paul, you just ruined my joke.
Oh, did I?
Yep.
Did you all hear me burp before?
Yes, and the hiccup. And we won't mention the...
The hiccups is an ongoing problem.
Yeah,
actually.
the hiccups I get 3-4 times a day.
This is what happens when you get a few crazy people into an impromptu chat.
That's what the Dark City is all about. We never know where we're going to go, do we? We get a group of people together.
Bring a radio server in and see how everybody's behaviour changes.
Oh, doesn't it?
In our case, it doesn't really...
Well, not us, Dawn, no.
No, we're like this all the time.
What the listeners might not know is we do actually spend a lot of our time doing this, but not live on air.
Yes.
We're all pretty used to talking to each other.
Yeah, where information's coming in. I mean, today we've had a couple of DJs have approached us, one through Facebook. One was yesterday. Who's connected? He's going to come down. There's one guy going to do some jingles. Another, excuse me with the names, but another guy's going to do some ambient tunes. That was mentioned about having a music license. Well, we're a non-profit making organisation. You know, Dark City, not an organisation, but we're non-profit making, so we don't actually need anything like that. There is no...
And we wouldn't apply for licences anyway, even if we did.
Me personally wouldn't apply for licences.
Because we don't want to be controlled.
Well, the issue is the owner needs to apply for the license. Well, we haven't got an owner. So unfortunately, if they do want us... Anyway, it's all right. The issue we've got is if we use music that is commercially registered to somebody else, on the podcasts on YouTube, they get pulled. However, now we're getting people like, Vosto, amazing. Zach, amazing. You know, they've been kicking around for a while. We've been using Zach's tune as like almost a banner, really. You know, that you are God. Or you can be a magical turtle, if you know. Anyway, we've been using that for a while. So them coming together, but also S-Man telling us we can use his music, and that was wonderful. SGB now telling us that's all right, we can use his music. I mean, there's others there, Albert Clark, DJ Darrell, stuff, who are making their own. These are DJs who are making their own music. So it's good stuff that we've... what did I call him? SBG? Is it SGB? I want to do that, no, SG.
Right. My message is to not be paranoid about it, you know, because nobody really monitors the less money-making artists, even if they are registered to like record label. No one stays to monitor that. So even if you play it, it takes like a lot of time and research to discover your station anyway. You know, so there won't be any problems if we put more underground type music.
It's a bit different as well, Vosto, with this station being based in the UK. Of course, it will be actually based all over the world when we get up and running. But being based from the UK, as long as there's no money being made, and basically we're a bunch of friends, guys.
Well, actually, Paul, that's not true any longer, and it hasn't been for a number of years, because a number of, now you need a PRS license, even if you're sitting and playing a guitar in a pub. Any kind of performance, you've got to remember that PRS is a big mafia. The only way that you get on the board of the PRS is to be invited onto the board by another board member. It's dead man's shoes. And the people who are on the board at PRS are all things like big conductors. They do one performance in the Albert Hall and the PRS hands them over £100,000. Whereas anyone who publishes any music and so on, performers, recording artists, unless they've got a big name, they get a pittance because the PRS decides how to divvy up all the money as well. So so even if you're playing stuff that the owners have said, yeah, that's fine, you can pay it, no fees and so on, that doesn't matter. PRS is going to bully its way in there in any case. And I say good luck to them, because they certainly ain't getting anything off me.
Well, they wouldn't even if they could sing.
I've had issues with these people before when I used to hire out karaoke equipment, and they went around saying they needed licenses to put on public performance, you see. You need this for dancing in a pub. You can have a jukebox, but you can't dance to the jukebox. It's monstrous. It really is. You know, we're in a situation where you're not allowed to dance. Stop that dancing. And we used to actually do it as a bit of a joke under the Licensing Act. You're not allowed to dance. Will you please stop enjoying yourself and sit down? You can't get up and dancing. And people just, they do. You know, that's going to happen. But yeah, I've stood against them, the local licensing officer, who basically shut down that business because it was getting popular. And at the end of the day, it was just another tax for the council. It really was.
Yeah.
Yep.
These smaller pubs and clubs, they can't build a stage and have dressing rooms and a separate toilet. Get a life. You know, this is just really people who are entertaining themselves. I actually kind of despise karaoke now. I've done it my way, and so many times now I've cringe. I have a reaction to karaoke. But yeah, great fun. I met some brilliant people. But you're dead right with the licensing. However, we are not a public performance. This is a private performance we're giving, where we're going into people's private homes. It has nothing to do with the public. Totally.
We're talking to all our friends.
And Well, no, I mean, the listeners own the radio. If there is any owner to this radio, I mean, as Vosto says, this is not our radio. This is your radio. And that is 100% the sentiment of this. So if they're listening now, anyone, you know, if somebody's listening and they've got an issue with what we've got to say, then you come up and talk to us. But remember, as soon as you do, then you're as guilty as the finger you pointed. We're not here to upset anybody. We're here to try and produce a free media stream for artists who personally don't want to go down the mainstream media. They can see what's happening. Listen to the words of SGB and visualise brighter days. That's all you've got to do to know, and I did. I heard that, and I knew the youth was switched on. I knew it. I knew they weren't all being, you know, subverted into this way of thinking. So it's good stuff, and that's what we're about, I suppose. You know, like I say, providing a space for people to let their art form flow, whether it's music, and there is artists. I know you might not get this. Well, you're a radio station. We're not just a radio station. We're a network of people that work together in bringing forth alternative ideas. Believe you me, most of those ideas fail. They fail. But there are one or two that didn't fail. They've now been tried and tested. This is the information, what we call the solutions. Of course, you may be out there working on something right now that none of us know about. Whether it works or it doesn't work, let us know about it. You see, there'll be others out there who are working on that. By sharing our information, the open source idea, we can progress at a rate beyond anything we've ever imagined. We can make massive technological leaps. If all the information was released, if we did have a government that was transparent and everything was released today, we would begin making giant leaps forward, sharing in technologies, removing the boundaries of creed and colour and religion, and definitely between countries, sharing in our technologies, sharing in ideologies, food production. You know, I can't even begin to imagine where we could be in 12 months' time. World famine ended. Every single man, woman and child on earth with suitable housing for their environment. That doesn't mean the English all move over to Australia and build houses like they want to have. It means you build houses which are suitable for the environment and the conditions they're building in. You don't go and build a block of flats in Africa. So yeah, a vision maybe, or go on.
It directly relates to what we were talking about a week or so ago about open source everything.
Software.
Give all the knowledge away to everybody.
Go on.
Yeah, not just a.
Oh, excuse me. Vosto was trying to get in there. My mistake. Please carry on.
No, I was trying to say about the open source software. A lot of independent producers of programs are going into open source. Just because of this idea of promoting creativity and letting everyone enjoy the fruits of knowledge and expand and help everything expand. Yeah, and earlier to what you were saying, you know, about music, I think we've got no interest in promoting any mainstream popular music. It's not the way we do it. I'm done.
I've got to agree, Vosto. Although the music playlist that we play, and once again, thanks to comments, we did get a cracking comment on Facebook the other day about the music. You know, the jingles and the music we're playing, although it is, a lot of that is commercial stuff, my way would be we wouldn't be using, of course, unless those people come up to us and say, please, would you, we won't refuse everyone, you know, everyone's welcome on the Dark City, but yeah, it's my, I suppose, dream to be able to see us that we are now playing everything. None of it's non-commercial. You know, with a service built on open source, and when that's built, we will share what we've learned, so other stations can just do exactly the same. Few people think we're trying to take a monopoly in this area because the way we're doing it, it's not. It's got nothing to do with a monopoly. None of those other stations have got anything to fear. We will share this with them. There's no point of sharing it now because it doesn't work yet. We've got the developer of Shampoo on Linux, who's actually been working with Dan on writing this and getting this sorted for us. He's willing to write the patches in for the live streams, and there aren't any currently available, so that's going to be written in into Shampoo, if I get that right. So it's really good, and I've never even spoken to this guy or met him. It's working through somebody who's working through somebody else, and then now, well, as we speak, they'll be getting that sorted. So that's where we want to go, Vosto. I couldn't, I can only confirm what you're saying there, man. That's we're not really interested in promoting the Fear Factory. We're not interested in promoting commercialised anything, really. Saying that,
and there's a whole lot of free music now, a whole lot of really good free music, and a lot of the good free music is all about stuff that we're interested in. So it's good all round, I think.
It's not about free, though. It's more about quality, and now more and more quality artists are being ignored, and they don't make any money, so that's why they're free.
Yeah.
Like now, only the Lady Gagas and the Rihannas and all that crap. Only those are the people who make money and who are appreciated as artists in 2013. And all the good quality stuff is ignored and not taken up by the record labels, or even if they are taken up, the artists are treated like shit and they don't get any money, and only the record labels make money. Mm-hmm. So it's really sad, the music industry these days.
Well, isn't it nice then that we've actually realised that money is a fiction, and it only has any worth or value because we believe it has worth or value, and so we can now crack on and create the alternatives and support each other in all of our efforts without, well, hopefully, negating that need for this fiction called money.
And here I want to add the Pirate Bay scene, which is a big promoter actually for many independent artists. More and more artists are starting to collaborate with the Pirate Bay because their stuff gets promoted and people find out about the artists, and of course a lot of people download for free. But if I like what it's on that CD or on that virtual CD, I go and buy it if I think it's good enough, And many do that.
So to give that artist some support, exactly.
Yeah, and many do that, and it's a good way.
I've been pulled up with this Vosto the last few days, really. We had we don't have a donate button. There is no way that anyone can actually contribute financially, and we will put one there. I get that. That's me being a bit of an ass. I know that people. Well, the idea of it is, a few of us were already paying for the internet. Why do we need to pay for any more? Again, being a bit of an idealist. When we actually asked, when we needed and we asked, we put it up on Facebook. We said we need to get another server. And we need to get somebody else. It all came, However, it has been pointed out to me that that's all that some people have got, and it's the only way. Like I've said to them, just post stuff around for us. Do that. So we will do it. But again, I might be being a bit awkward here, but if it's possible, we'll do it in Bitcoin. I don't know if Bitcoin is the right one. It is an alternative. I've got my doubts either way, but we will put a donation button up. We will do that. If people want to contribute, that's up to them. I could see now how we can easily, little things. Power League, Dom the other day. Now, Dom lives with no money. I've seen it. He does do it. But without the rest of us at the moment, he couldn't do what he's doing. So, it is like he's taking a bullet for all of us in that sense. But yeah, a power lead. You need a power lead. it would have been nice to get Bob a little tiny mic mixer. We're not talking very professional and fancy stuff here. We're talking a few pounds worth of equipment, not hundreds of pounds. We're talking tens of pounds to be able to get and make it a lot easier. I can imagine Bob doing that. His outside broadcast he did from the pub. Was it Lewisham? Lewisham? Anyway, Lewisham. Thank you, Prajna. I'm getting better, aren't I? And they were actually passing the microphone around one another. You know? But you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. So, you know, it's brilliant that people are kind of recognising that's what we're doing. We've put this station together with beautiful, brilliant, gifted people. That's the core of it. The rest of it is pretty much sticky tape and brown paper. What's holding it all together? Yesterday, Dawn, our Dawn of Dark City now on Skype, you want to get in touch, linked things together. Again, it's something that a lot of us didn't get. With now the Facebook links to Twitter, and that Twitter will eventually link back to the website. And when we post on there, it will appear in the RSS streams of the new coming shows and stuff. If you do want to find any of these links, the Twitter account, the Facebook account, go to www.darkcityradio. Okay? Doesn't matter whether it's .com, .co.uk, doesn't matter. Just go to www.darkcityradio.com or .co.uk. Enter the site and click on the live page. Once you're in that page, you'll see on the left-hand column of it, there's the link to Facebook, the link to Twitter, and the link to somewhere else. I can't remember now, I'm not looking at it. And Robohippy has pretty much put all those little links in and out of that live page. Now, for some people, if you've got a really poor connection and, you know, just click the link right at the bottom and log on directly onto Caster. So that's darkcity.caster. You know, you're not going to get the information and the flow there, but you will get the radio with a minimum bandwidth. You know, so if you're in Africa or India or somewhere like that, you can still get through. So we're getting there. We are getting there. It's a brilliant team of people, and we will.
Paul,
go on.
You can go to the caster page, and you'll find there's a link on there that will create a link so that you can listen to it in VLC media player or whatever your media player is, and then it will go direct to the radio station. So it's not even played via the website then.
Oh, no, and you know, don't you, that when the stream drops, that's the fastest way to reconnect. You know,
yep.
That is the quickest way. So if you have been on, if you were listening to the show yesterday, we had, I don't know, I saw 144 individual live people on the stream. Now that antiquates to the media figures of over 200,000 monthly viewers, which is phenomenal for a station of our age. And that's knocking virtually any other station on the internet. Now I don't know if Caster, I don't know if something happened there, but the stream was knocked on and off. When we put everything together, there's very little missing, but it was on and off, probably maybe 12, 15 times. And when it actually stabilised again, there was no. Some people went on twice, or you may have been in your house and your kids are listening in the bedroom and the wife's listening in the kitchen, maybe. Each time that happens, we will see your IP appear 3 times or 2 times. All those are gone. It strips everyone down, so there was nobody what we call ghosting. There's nobody connecting 5 or 6 times with one computer. They were all single IPs. Those numbers dropped to 111. So there was 111 people clicking on the button wildly to get back on when that happened, except for those that were listening, as you say, through their media player, Prajna. For them, it was just trying to reconnect.
Yep.
So yeah, that rose up then to Stevie saw it at 148. It was a little bit hectic here for me. I didn't keep my eye on it like I'd normally do. So we could say 150. 144 is 205,000. So, and those are only the ones we can see. So, like I said,
how is 144 205,000?
Oh, let me tell you. Now, this is a lot of confusion a lot of people have. We like to tell you the truth as best we've got it without clouding the truth over. And what I'm going to... The 205,000 isn't a lie. That's how they work out the figures for merchandising. Of course, we're a free station. We don't need to do that. We're not selling advertising space. Excuse me. We're not interested in selling the websites or anything like that. So we're not trying to create a revenue-based thing here. But if when you look at the average monthly viewers, and that's what's given out, and I've pulled loads of stations over this, many of the hosts out there aren't aware of this. So there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 of us here now. Just actually in the chat box. I haven't looked how many's on the caster. There was in excess of 60 people on Nigel's show. So I'll take
There's
one
4
person.
in my chat box. 4.
I'll take one person. Okay, a listener is half an hour. The average viewer listens for half an hour. So they say this is all, how they work it out. No, so I'm just giving you how it's done. So that's me sat online for 24 hours a day. Okay, a day. It's 48 listeners. Now you take me and you times me by 30. You take your 48 and you times it by 30. That will give you the average monthly viewers. That's me being logged on 24 hours a day. Okay? So now the way they work the figures out is how many people were on the live stream. And remember, this is the minimum monthly viewers. So last night we had, it was worked out, I think Bob did it at 144. So he just puts 144 in, times it by 48 and times it by 30, and you've got the average monthly figures for that show. That's how it's sold. Now, just think you're a shop or a business or something, and somebody comes along and they're saying, this is Darkcity Radio, and we've got advertising space, blah, 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 and they say to us, well, how many listeners have you got? Well, our average monthly visitors, well, for this show, are 200, and for this show, they are 160,000. Oh, and for the music shows, actually, we're only actually pulling 260 people average a month, and that's on the dead time at the middle of the night. That sounds brilliant. You're thinking, that's great. You don't realise that the 260 people is just the server and somebody listening to it. That's all it is. There's nobody there. So a lot of these so-called numbers have been cooked up for merchandising. Of course, they're not lying. That is the average monthly figures. That's how it's worked out. If you've got any doubts about this, just type in to YouTube how to set up your radio station, or how to sell your radio, or how to get advertising on your radio. That is the practice within the industry. Like I say, we're not in the industry, so we can tell you we're probably 150 people on the stream live, and 111 of those were paying attention. That's for where we are. For where we are, that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. I did Revolution Radio, the largest independent chat host radio station in the United States of America. 75th in the world. The best figures we ever got were 148 live on the stream.
We had more people on chat than them yesterday. We had like 57, and they have like the maximum 50 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And now I'm not using them as a position, but if we were to base ourselves upon a station, numbers, you wouldn't be thinking that we were maxing out with the 75th station. We're actually getting more on the shows, like I said.
It's impossible to get on a radio like ours, like viewers, like hundreds of thousands of viewers. It's a joke, you know. Even when you say 20,000, it's still a joke. You can't get that many viewers for a kind of radio that is not really popular within the peers.
I have a suspicion, you know, Vosto, that Caster doesn't expect anybody to get 150 on theirs. They really don't. Of course, we've got about 200 and something votes. We stopped pushing that because it seemed silly. It started being silly. But if you do want to go and click the vote button on the Caster page, do so. Because I've gone and trawled through those sites when shows have been on. And we are, unless there's something I'm missing, we're outperforming them all. In fact, I'd go as far as to say there is as many people listening to Dark City Radio on Caster as all the others put together.
Yeah, well, what I noticed is that Dom particularly has a big following behind him. So whenever he pops up with an interesting guest, you know, people log in. But for instance, now we have this show. This show is not really gonna bring a lot of viewers. You know, well, you know what I'm saying.
Hang on a minute. Well, why?
I would disagree, because we've got some exciting guests coming up in this show as well, in the Dark City show.
Yeah, the Sunday one.
Also, the chat is broken right now.
It's
the
actually
chat is broken.
Well, that's the main one, Vosto. We have more people on the Sunday Dark City show than any other show on the. We do. The shows have grown each time, but you're dead right. I see that by with the numbers we lose, not the numbers we gain. And after Don's show, we can lose 20 or 30 people. Just bang! They've only come to listen to Don. You're quite right. He's got a good following, and a lot of those people who are hanging around now came with Don. There's no doubt about that. Like yesterday, the funny thing was, everybody thought Charlie Beach had finished and that was the end of it. But look, a lot of the people who come onto the shows, the guests and the hosts, they hang out with what we call the Dark City Crew. And that's what the Dark City show's all about. And this is really giving the listener and the people who are hosting and the guests the time to sit round all together and have a chat. That's really what it's about.
And the Sunday show is not as established anyway yet. Dom has been doing his show. His show's more established at the moment. But the Sunday show, having guests on, is only really just beginning. We've got some really good guests lined up.
Oh, it's a cracker, that.
So,
I mean, look at Bob's show. Completely unheard of. Okay, we used to have a little bit of a Dark City, didn't we, on a Saturday? Nothing special, just to kind of warm it up for people. Bob came in, took that first hour of that slot, and bang, you know, numbers flew in. They flew in, and they're all different people. That's a completely different group of people now. And, you know, like I say, it's brilliant. I couldn't say one bit. I mean, I must admit, when Charlie switched off, when Charlie dropped off last night, I don't know. We lost half of the viewers went. But by the end of the Dark City show, those numbers had started to come back up again. So, yeah, it's not all about the numbers, of course. It really isn't. But I was blown away. You never know the true effects. You never know the true numbers that are going out. But I've got to agree, if people start quoting this 30,000, 20,000 people, Vosto knows his stuff. Rakmiester knows his stuff on these things. That is twaddle. That is real twaddle. It really is. Yeah. Like I say, we're looking at it, we want it all to be free. It may come in a time where we have to buy a stream to be able to do this. That will be expensive to do. But by then it shouldn't make any difference. It really shouldn't make any difference, you know. And the concept of it should be rocked in. Anyway, that's the future. As it stands, it looks like we can break Caster with 150. So the solution to that is we would have 3 separate streams. And it'd be quite simple. Same thing on them. You'd have 1, 2 and 3. So if you can't get on 1, you click number 2. You can't get on number 2, you click number 3. That gives us 900 viewers. So there we go. Still free. And we can do 900. That's live. So yeah, phenomenal. It is phenomenal what's happening. It really is. How quickly it's growing. I never expected it. I really didn't.
Thank you for listening to Dark City Radio.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much indeed. Another thing
What was on the hour?
is the YouTube site, Dark City YouTube site that's been put up, which Robo pretty much every day takes what we've been recorded, he puts the little slideshows with it, and he sticks them up onto YouTube. Sometimes they take a little bit longer. That was my fault this morning. We needed to put a few clips in and change things around. So yeah, that is beginning to get hits. Now, it doesn't... we looked at one this morning, the Charlie Beach show, Dom's show with Charlie Beach yesterday, excuse me. And we put that one up. And it was getting about 1 a minute. And then Dom posted it. And that started getting 1 a minute. You see, there's different groups of people coming together. And that's what I'm trying to emphasise here. And that is something, to be honest, that a guy called Nighthawk from Revolution Radio triggered in me. I could see the work he'd done there. Of course, it's different. It's an American station. They've kind of tied in with everything the Americans do. It's commercial. They've got to pay for everything. It costs them a considerable amount of money to do it. But that ideology of allowing different people from different walks of life to come together and sharing, that on radio, it was Nighthawk who triggered that with me. So, he's a good guy as well, a good guy. And if we, I'm not saying we model ourselves on that, but like Vosto mentioned, if we're hitting their numbers already, and they're a well-established station, it tells us it is working.
And of course, you guys bring us. Go ahead, Vosto.
We gotta get interesting guests. We gotta get more hosts. We gotta make a certain schedule. We now have 2 shows or something like that. 3 shows. We need to expand. Like, it takes time to do that, but just stating the goals.
Oh yeah, man. Look. I'll tell you what. Well, the goal is at the moment was to run between, and this is UK time. Excuse me. I'll give you the others if you want, but to run from 7:00 p.m. till 11 o'clock at night, all week. Now we have on the schedule at the moment. Sunday's full. Wednesday is full. Thursday, the Dark City show can move, but there's a 3-hour slot left there. And Saturday, the same, another 3-hour slot. Fridays, empty. Now, you think there's nobody on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, but there are coming. There's another 2 shows already lined up. There's the alternative gardening and stuff and all that one, and then there's a health show coming, which is the alternative health on herbalists and working on that. And that lady's going to agree to do it. Also, look at that rock hard work that Dawn's been doing. She's got 3 guests lined up, and believe you me, these are real top guests. Are you with me? You'll see. I can understand why she doesn't want to say who's coming until she's got it 100% confirmed, because it messes it up. It really does mess it up. But Vosto, I've got to agree, we do need more hosts coming in. We definitely need more hosts. We need a couple more producers. Yeah, we do. No doubt. So if you are out there and you do want to have a crack at this, don't worry, we don't just get you on. If you've got any doubt of this, get in touch with Vin James. Get in touch with Vin James. He does no state project, is it?
Project.
No. Is it?
No
right.
state project.
That's it, no state project. And he does his own show. He does a simulcast from this Mark Stevens, and we don't mind that. If you want a simulcast early on in the day, we'll do that. That's not an issue. But remember, when the live shows come along here, the music will get moved around. If they're not live, the live shows are going to take precedence. So yeah, ask Vinny, ask Vin James, because Vin James has had issues. They were going to come just take over the stream 5 or 6 hours, and it didn't work. And we've all worked together to make sure that gets on. It has been a bit haphazard last week. It was so late, Vin's computer was dead, and he managed to get it back open. By the time we got it, it was 10 minutes. Well, by the time we made connection, it was 10 minutes before his show. But we did it. And that's what it's about, working together. It won't always be that difficult. But you don't get left in the lurch here. And that doesn't happen. We'll make sure there's at least 1 or 2 people online with you all the time. And that's not in the chat and on the radio, of course. We ought to have more than that there. But so you're not left alone. And it does build your confidence. Trust me. Trust me on this. So don't be fearful of it. If you're thinking of it and you want to have a go, we are not professionals. None of us have done this before. We've all got little bits of talent and we're putting them together. This is the time to get in. This is it. It really is. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. If you're a host, you're out there, you're a guest, you're whatever. We have got a waiting list now for the Sunday Dark City show. I didn't think I'd be saying that. I really didn't think I'd be saying that. But there is a waiting list for that. And we could do with another couple of presenters, people to do the interviews. We could. Yeah, it's happening.
I can do the interviews with guests that I can invite myself, you know.
Yeah, well, you're going to do a show, aren't you, Vosto, as well, in the spring?
Yeah, we are in spring, actually, but like starting from the 15th, maybe, you know, like the half of this month.
So people who've been keeping a close eye out will know we had a bit of fun with Vosto. When we first met up, he gave me a bit of advice. He said, just get it run, get it as hard as you can, you know, get it as solid as you can to take it on, you know, kick off in the spring. And jokingly, we've kind of sat that. We're going to do it in the spring because the Count Vosto has instructed us. So if you have a look on it, we've said that he's having a vow of silence and he's in hibernation and we can't communicate with him. And you'll get now why we've got Rupert, where I put Rupert on saying, I have to use the channel. I have to get the channel. And then Vosto, his jingle breaks into it. So yeah, we've had a bit of fun behind the scenes. And we tried to make it a little bit light-hearted.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun going down here. We're not so serious. That's why we exceed at what we do, because we are not so serious about it. And when you put fun into it, everything just works according to the plan that doesn't exist, basically.
So Vosto, I take it it's going. I take it your shows when it launches. That means that the Dark City will actually launch then on the 15th.
Yeah, we can say that. We can say that we can launch at the same time.
And we wondered. There you go. We had to get it out of Lord Vosto. He's the keeper of the castle, you see, of the Dark City.
He has the final word.
Yes, he does. It's not like
I might actually be able to bring a nice guest for that date, especially. I just have to do the necessary arrangements. Like I'm thinking either Max Egan or Michael Tsarian, if you know that guy.
I know the name.
Yeah, it's that guy is good when he talks about the future of mankind, the post-human era, like from a psychological point of view, it's very, very interesting character. I should bring him up so you can meet him.
Yeah, we've actually got John Armitage as well from the Shambhala Foundation, or what was the Shambhala Foundation, had to change the name, with the alternative techniques, who was actually John the Trampoline Man in the Convoy, which was smashed on the Beanfield, of course. So yeah, he's there out on the sidelines. He's going to come on and he's willing to do interviews, do his meditations. We do feature one of his meditations on the Dark City under the stuff. So yeah, like I say, yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's put a date on it. Do you know what'll happen then, don't you? We'll have to have everything done for the 15th. Now I'm miles behind Vosto. What have you done to me again? I was hoping you were talking spring 2015.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Vosto, what's your show called?
I I don't know, Vosto's mind explorations.
Yeah.
Because I had a
Vosto
show called
might-
Vosto's Sound Exploration, since I'm more of a DJ than a radio talk show host. But since this will be more about talking, I will call it Vosto's Mind Explorations.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Expect the Vosto.
Yeah,
Expect the unexpected.
The mind.
Expect-
Minor.
Mind.
Expect mind benders at Vosto's mind
Minor.
explorations.
Mind control.
Yeah, I was going on the play on the mine, as in mining and digging up stuff out of the ground, and mind. So yeah, minor. But yeah, the Vosto. I would just call it the Vosto. That's how the count. So yeah, it's all in the name, so they say. Or Dom would, wouldn't he? Be all over that.
And I don't think I will be able to get a guest like for every show. But when I will have a show, it will be great. You know, I don't stay around to do bad quality stuff. You know.
Vosto, I've got one question. Are you a paid actor?
Am I a what?
A paid actor.
Crisis
Paid
actor.
I don't know. It depends. Like, for example, now I cannot be a paid actor because nobody has money to pay me. I'm just
And also, we've got to
volunteer.
ask you if you're Spock as well. We've
What?
got to check this stuff for Dom, you see.
Are you Spock?
Are you Spock?
That was quite funny and quite bitchy, Prajna, coming from you.
Yeah, I'm highly multitasking at the moment, so that's why I can't always hear you. And if I tell you what I'm doing, at the second, the second thing that I do, you will really laugh, you know. So I'm gonna
I'll tell
pass.
it,
I'm
so-
just gonna say I'm doing the radio and something really, really important.
Ooh.
He's going to be the next president of the European Union, aren't you, Vosto?
Oh shit! Not another one.
It's the
that
first
important?
phase in his operation to move towards controlling the whole world.
Hmm.
It's the brain. Pinky and the brain. What are we gonna do tomorrow, brain? Same
He's
thing we do
launching
every
the
day,
radio
Pinky.
station. He's
Of
launching
course,
the
the plan
radio
is to take
station.
over the world, but it will take some time, you know.
Yeah. First, he has to take control of the European Union. And
You got to start with the
Station.
European Union and then the whole world, you know. Got to start somewhere.
Except the European Union's just a distraction from the United Nations.
I think what Vosto's saying, that he will unite Europe. He will actually unite every man, woman and child into a common cause within Europe. I think that's what he's getting at. And I think if that is the case, Vosto, then I will join you. And I will endeavour to unite the people of I'll pick Britain.
Well, you won't have any choice because you'll be united anyway.
Well,
If he's doing his job right.
well, I'm only trying to take some of the burden off my brother. I think actually,
Yes.
Vosto actually taking responsibility for the entirety of Europe. I'm a bit jealous.
Can you imagine?
I want to get in
Can you
on
imagine? He gets in power, he'll just kick everybody out of power and rule over the whole place.
it. Yeah.
Benevolently.
I don't know. I don't see what problems.
He'll be a dictator.
I don't see what the problem is with the dictator. You know, I've seen the film. I don't see what the issue is. I suppose it just depends that we just need to make sure we've got a nice, friendly dictator, haven't we? Looks after the people. You know, we can pick on ethnic races and lock them up, and we can bully people. We can just get away with whatever we want. I mean, what? Hang on a minute. That's what we've got already, haven't we? Not that
Yeah.
So often, you know, you hear this. Oh, well, who is the dictators? You know, who are the dictators really? And the ones who tell us what we can and can't do, I suppose. The ones who are the minority that enforce their will upon the majority with the threats of violence.
Yeah, and that's all they've got is force and the threat of force.
So yeah, any kind of solution to those problems, or you know whether they'll work or not, you know, alternatives. I shouldn't call them solutions because you don't know until you put them into practice whether they will solve the problem. So yeah, any of those alternatives, they should be given an opportunity. Why not? What we've got doesn't work. Plain and simple. All right, it works for 15% of the world's population. I grant you. You know, the rest it doesn't work for. I'm not saying we give everything up. I'm not one of these people who think that we all revert back now to living like we did 1,000, 2,000 years ago. I do think we need to bring in some other ideologies, like I keep saying, but I think we can keep everything in a sense by giving up our possession, by giving up the ownership, and by giving up the defensive nature that we actually have.
By open source and everything.
It is one of them, definitely. Personally, I think it's individual. It is individual. You have to give up your conflict. And that laughter that Vosto said, we have a lot of fun while we're doing it. We're not competing against one another. I mean, me and Dawn have had a ball over the last couple of days, you know, because we're doing stuff. And Dawn can do something. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. You do that. There's giggles and there's laughs and people are joking with one another. You know, there's comments coming in. Oh, one comment that has come in while we've been on air is from commonly known as Dom. Let me find it. Is it, oh my God, Facebook's gone ballistic or something?
Ah, yes.
I wanted to mention that. Commonly known as Dom. Oh dear, it's gone mental on Facebook. Laugh out loud. Thanks for that, Dom. Brilliant. I'm not quite sure what's got mental on Facebook, but yeah, it must be good news. So all I can say, it must be good news. So yeah, put a bit of laughter into it. We were going to run till 9 o'clock, I do believe. We were just filling up an hour for PAX Monday. We've now done an hour and 20 minutes, so we've run over. I didn't even notice. Once again, I mean, I'm happy to carry on. I think we've covered the news we need to cover, unless anybody else out there wants to throw something in. Be quick. We'll take it up to the half hour, another 10 minutes. Or unless somebody rings in on that number, 0044 161 298 0298. Or if you're in the UK, 0161 298 0298, or add Bobsbackyard to Skype, and we'll get you up here. No worries at all. Have we got anything happening in the chat? Has the chat sorted itself out yet?
Well, you know, I keep re-logging. I've just logged back in, and now I'm in a split that's just got me and Larry in it.
Yeah, it's quite sad. And, all the network is destroyed now.
Oh, Robo's just
arrived.
Like,
normally it takes like a half an hour to fix, or even less. But something is up now. Maybe it's a DOS attack or something. No idea what it could be.
Yeah, it's a bit more than it is normally. Excuse me, Doc.
Don't be put off by the waiting list for the shows. If you want to be a guest, get in touch with us, because even though we say we've got a waiting list, some of the shows aren't actually confirmed at the moment, so we still have slots. So please do not be put off and get in touch.
Yes.
I altered that
out as well. We have had one or two people who've said, "Oh yeah, I'll come on," and then they chicken out. So quite often there's a slot and we'll pull you in.
Yeah, well, I'll third that now. I'll third, don't be put off. Please don't. And if you are a little bit, like I say, contact us. Don't have to come on air, get in a group like we have now. You know, you get to know people, get you comfortable, and have a shot. It's not as hard. Do one show, do a special, do something like that. We don't mind. It's your radio. Tell us what you want. We will do our best to accommodate and serve you.
If I can do it, anyone can.
You're really good at this, Dawn. You're really good at it. Your interview the other day, it was like, what are we doing? Well, oh God, we can't have Dawn on Dark City. She's too professional. Well, I'll give her a run.
Alex was easy to interview. It's great when you get someone who can give you so much feedback. You know, I wasn't getting like 2-word responses. I wasn't really having to work that hard to get the information out of him. I had good questions, yeah, but he gave good answers, good lengthy answers. So it's great, you know, when you've got a guest on that knows their stuff and he's actually used to speaking as well. So that helps, you know, when they've got that bit of confidence. But at the same time, I'm not trying to put off people who may feel a bit nervous about doing this, who've not any experience at all. If you've got something really valid, if you're got specialist knowledge in something, or if you want to expose something, please get in touch with us. Take the risk, because it really is such a buzz being on here. I really enjoy it. I've caught the bug, to be honest with you. I came on here thinking I'm not going to be a host. I'm just going to appear as a guest sometimes and just have a bit of fun on here with a group of people in the Darkcity Crew. And it's kind of morphed into, now I've caught the bug, so yeah, I don't mind hosting. I don't mind interviewing people. I quite enjoy it. But it did take me a few shows to kind of find my feet. At first I was a bit like, oh, you know, I've not got that much experience. I did work in Truth Radio before with Dan Bedondi, who now works for InfoWars. So, but that was really my only experience. I did go on a Ruth Ann's show as well one time. But I had limited experience in it. But once you're actually on there, once you've had that experience, and it also helps, everybody that's on with us, they're all really approachable people, you know, and you're never going to be left totally on your own.
Read this article,
they're always ready to jump in and have your back if you get nervous.
I sent something for you, Dawn.
But I'll check that out, Vosto.
Look in Skype, and that's for you to read. I think you are a good reader of stuff, so yeah, let's see.
Cyber Warriors.
It's my therapy. Yeah, try it. See if it works. Come on. I'll speak. I'll do more rants now. Vosto's coming on.
See, I was on a rant there. I was mid rant when Vosto posted that link to me, and I've kind of lost the thread of my rant. But yeah, that felt good to get that out.
I want to say, Dawn, I was going to say, I'll tell him, Dawn, in the last couple of days, she's gone off like a nuclear device. It's been wonderful. I mean that in a good way, not a positive way. She really has. And that's, what was that? Who whispered that then? That's that Vosto, isn't it, again? So, yeah.
You're working like crazy today. Absolutely. Even with Facebook thrown up all over the place, Dawn's been hard at it. I can vouch for that.
Yeah, so fair play to you, Dawn. I know you're saying that you had an easy guest, you're saying he's a bit interview, but you made him relaxed. We all felt relaxed while you were doing it. You're right, we are there a lot of the time. You know, there's 2 or 3 of us sat around, maybe more, maybe a dozen sometimes, all waiting, literally waiting. But they're not waiting for somebody to trip up. And when you did that show, we sat back, Dawn. I know that, it's not just from me, we sat back, you were cool, and then your guest dropped off. Just that ding, lost his connection. He was only gone for a few minutes, and that. Is the crew there? Yeah, we're here, Don. Yeah, we're here. And then the guests come back, and that's it. So you're right. We've got to work as a team. We've got to come together. We've got to share our skills. We plug up our weaknesses. And, that's how we build the walls of the Dark City.
And Vosto's posted a really nice thing about cyber warriors at the moment.
Just looking at it.
And I spotted an article the other day where they were talking about cybersecurity in the UK and saying that there's something like 20 years behind Anonymous at the moment. Effectively, this article was saying they're going to have to train up a whole lot of people to catch up and be able to protect against Anonymous. So Well done, Anonymous. That's what I say.
Yeah. I mean, I know people. I'm obviously not going to mention names on air, but I do know people that I could actually believe that, because I've seen people at work and that support the whole anonymous idea, and they are very skilled, and yeah, that's basically what they've been saying as well. So yeah.
The closest example to prove that Anonymous is far beyond is that the Bank of America cyber spying program has been obstructed and spied on by Anonymous themselves. So the Bank of America hired spies to check out what Anonymous is doing, but Anonymous was already watching them while they were planning all this watching stuff. And later on they posted on some leaks just yesterday, or I don't know, maybe 2 days ago, of this whole spying program and what it's about, and the names and everything that they wanted to spy on. So yeah, Anonymous is way beyond. I can post that link for you too if you want.
They've just taken down the top 40 paedophile sites off the internet and released all the list of members.
Can't beat that. That's Anon policing the internet. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Here's an article on that. It's really good.
They're actually asking for thousands, millions of dollars, pounds, so they can police the internet because of these so-called things, what are going on. And you've got private individuals going out there taking, what did you say, 40 sites out? 40 sites?
40 sites.
There you go, get rid of that. And the governments have been running round, and the taxpayers have been paying them a fortune, and what have they done?
But look at HB Gary, that's a prime example. It was so insecure that their website was so insecure, and very easily, they were hacked by Anon, and then 70,000 emails of theirs was leaked. It just goes to show they're a private security company. They were affiliated with the US Department of Defense. Where's everybody gone?
Everyone is here.
We're here.
Yeah, I just went really quiet
listening
as if I'd
attentively.
lost my connection there. They were affiliated with the US Department of Defense, actually doing the social media puppet program for the US Department of Defense. I lost my train of thought there when I thought I'd lost my connection.
It's okay.
Well, you're lucky to have the Darkcity Crew to jump in and save you all.
I know, exactly. They saved the day, didn't they?
Yeah, the Darkcity Crew international waffling team.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it is past now. So I don't know if you all want to quit or carry on. Or
I want to hear another one of these wonderful Vosto jingles.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, I can do that. I can throw you a couple of jingles on. Where are they? God, I'll do. Which one should we do? We've got the big one. Where we put all the bits together.
That's funny as anything. Go for it.
You should put a song and then those jingles, and then we come back.
Yeah, I can do that, man. We can do that.
Things, yes, lots and lots of different things. There's chat, there's music, diversity, an occasional argument, for the warmongers.
I have to channel the spirit. All right, let's.
So we'll be right back after this. We'll let this play for you, a couple of tunes as the count of Darkcity Vosto has spoken. We'll be back right after this.
See here.
This is not our radio. This is your radio. Darkcity Radio.
Television is not the truth. Television's a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. So if you want the truth, go to
Dark City Radio.
God damn it!
Radio.
Hi, it's Rupert, and when my homosexual tendencies are at their height, I like to listen to the Dark City, because Barbara makes me feel pretty.
Tune in, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Dark City Radio, every evening, every afternoon, every morning, in fact, every moment of every day. There is chat, laughter, music, and excitement like you wouldn't believe on
Dark City Radio.
And he did this all on a waiter.
Right, so we're back. Last half hour show of the Dark City. Well, who knows? Who knows what's going to go down on the Dark City? Yeah, bit of a change there. I think we need to change the V for Vendetta, and we need to change that from the 5th of November to the perhaps the 15th of March. That might be quite nice. So, yeah, we've actually been joined by Soul to Soul. Soul to Soul's been giving us some brilliant questions through the chat and stuff, and he's managed to get a microphone. So, Soul to Soul, do you want to come up and say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure and an honor to be amongst people who seem to be on a similar journey. And it's been interesting, really, listening to your shows and learning a few things and expanding my thoughts as well. It's I have to say, a brilliant show, and happy to be here.
Good evening. Good to have you.
You've asked some great questions in chat, but the speed that chat flies past sometimes, there must be a number of questions on there that never got picked up and never got answered. Have you got any that are burning away in the back of your mind there?
Yeah, I mean, following on from the show just listened to with Charlie, and basically, I've been listening to him. This is my own personal thoughts. I think that there's probably a lot of distraction within this whole movement, as it were, towards trying to eradicate ourselves of this parasitic system. I noticed that there's a lot of egos within this spectrum as well, where people seem to be more about themselves rather than trying to do more for everyone. And it's just trying to put a question out there. I mean, is there a way of bringing unity, even though there's so much distracting forces in and amongst
one of the things soul to soul that I've always said, well, a couple of things I've always said. One is that you don't need COINTELPRO or government ops to bring down any kind of movement. That the egos that are involved are quite sufficient to do that on their own without the government expending any money on undercover police officers and so on. And secondly, that the very first thing that we have to do is to change ourselves. We have to deal with those egos before we've got any hope of changing the system, because otherwise we'll change the system and we'll find that whatever we create in its place will be undermined by those very same egos. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, no, definitely it does go to somewhere in answering the question. It's just something that's sort of just, because I've been listening to a lot of people, and some people got really great ideas, but they're overrun by the bigger personalities, as it were, and it's nice. I like this. This is why I like this show, where everyone gets the chance to speak their mind and throw in some ideas, and it just expands other people's thoughts as well, as opposed to just having sort of just one person pasting their ideas and them then being propelled because they're a bigger personality. If you see what I mean.
Sure. Yep. Yeah. But funny when you were saying that this is precisely one of the things that is done in transition town meetings and all these consultations and so on, and it's done by design using the Delphi technique, and that is as soon as somebody steps up and starts talking about something that goes against the management agenda, suddenly they'll turn around and say, oh, well, so-and-so over there hasn't really had a chance to speak. And so they manage the whole conversation by calling on someone who hasn't spoken to speak as soon as someone's saying something important. Not that that's what you were saying, but funnily when we're talking about, you know, agents and actors and crisis actors and so on, that this is part of the procedure that they do, is to say that, well, there are these quiet voices that don't get to speak. Here, of course, you do get to speak because you can stick your questions in, you can come on live and chat and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is why it's such a compelling listening to the shows. It's just a mixture of different ideas, and it's great to see, really.
Did you catch the second show after Dom's show with Charlie yesterday?
No, I haven't listened to that yet.
Well, quite early on in it, Stacey makes some brilliant points, and she really does. It was good to hear, I must admit. So yeah, Charlie was asked by Robo about the spiritual connection to things.
All right.
And to be honest, although we didn't hear a lot from Charlie, we heard a lot from Stacey, and that was real rooting out there, you know, without any doubt.
And it was proper spiritual stuff too.
Wasn't
it was lovely.
Wasn't it? Really, really tuned in. Proper tuned in stuff. So yeah, that's worth a listen. And what a lot of people miss is, a lot of the time, not all of the time, the guests roll over. They roll over into the Dark City. The Dark City, the idea of it is, the whole format is you've basically got 40 minutes, an hour of an interview, and then after that, you've got, with a guest, you know, one of our excellent interviewers, like, you know, Dawn's now interviewing them all. Excuse me. But yeah, you know, and you'll get somebody who can interview with a bit of skill, because that's required, rather than me, who just blunders along. And then we get the opening up for people to come in and put their points across and ask questions. Now, the guests might not always be with us, but the interviewer and the people who've actually had a look around at what they get, they're all in there. So, you know, you can throw your radio together. And there's no topic. There is no set topic. We've had a joke about this in the Anon chat today, that the topic actually today is staying off topic. You know, that was the topic. Because that's what happens. You never know where you're going to go. So that's roughly the format of the Dark City shows. Guest, interview, information, and then an informal open bash around with the ideas, as we call them in Manchester.
Very often as well, whoever's been on with Dom must stay on and chat with the Darkcity Crew later too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Often they do that. They do that, don't they? Excuse me.
They do that. They do, don't they do?
That's your statement, not mine.
Yes, indeed. But I've got something to ask you, actually. Somebody sent me through a message saying that something about the Queen and the Pope having a warrant for their arrest out or something like that. And just wanted to...
This was Kevin Annette, who was on here a few days ago. In fact, he's a vicar from Canada who gave a great deal of support to the Indians and Aboriginal people in Canada, the churches had stolen all their children, molested them, killed them, done all this kind of stuff. And Kevin Nanette has taken it all the way to setting up a people's common law court. They've had a trial and found the Pope and the Queen and a number of others
the Pope,
guilty.
the Queen, and the Prime Minister of Canada is a Harper.
Yep.
Have all been found guilty of crimes against humanity and sentenced to 25 years imprisonment without chance of parole. And if they don't surrender by the 4th of March, then an international arrest warrant will be issued and they will be liable to citizens' arrest.
So again, he's one of these geniuses who sat down and studied what law is necessary, how to make it all official and so on.
Not before he was shafted by the Catholic Church, actually, because he was a priest in Canada, and he went to a new job, a new church, and noticed the native Aboriginal people when attending, and started to inquire as to why, and uncovered all this massive abuse, and then basically got sacked and defrocked from the church because he was making too many waves. So he continued making his waves, and he made them more and more publicly. And the website for that, it's the International something Tribunal, International Criminal. Oh God, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the website. Sorry.
But again, if people put in Kevin Annette. In there, they'll come up with all the information. He's very active on Facebook at the moment as well, keeping people up to date with what's happening with this. And I understand that the whole court case is going to be broadcast very soon as well.
Yeah.
Is that the same Kevin Annette that was on the radio show with Alfred Weber from Exopolitics, where they dug up the bones from the native Indians at the school in Canada?
Yes.
Because,
same guy, yeah.
Because I know Alfred Weber was involved with a tribunal in Malaysia, the International Tribunal, where they sentenced Blair, Bush, and another one for war criminals. But so they have been sentenced, but it's not under international jurisdiction. So it depends on where it goes from that. But I guess that's the same layout they are using here.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Robo's helpfully posted the link. It's http://itccs.org. And also you can find hiddennolonger.com is another one of Kevin's websites that tells the whole story about these abuses in Canada.
Yeah. What was the name of the documentary you made, babe? Can you remember?
I think that was called Hidden No More as well. Hidden No Longer.
Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting because you talk to most British people and they say, because I'm being a Kiwi, they say, New Zealand, I've always wanted to go to New Zealand. And the two places in the world it seems that everyone wants to go and live are either New Zealand or Canada. And we think these are wonderful places. But actually, if you look at all this abuse of the Indians in Canada, you'll find that they had one of the biggest mental hospitals that carried out horrendous abuse on people as well as part of MK Ultra and all this kind of thing. It's amazing what a distorted picture of our countries and our histories that we end up with, don't you think?
Very much so. I think it's partly people see the people of New Zealand and the people of Canada and think, these are really chilled out, laid back people, and yeah, I could live with that. But the history of those places, post-colonial history of those places, is it's diabolical, and that's down to the powers that be type thing.
That's that's still going on. I mean, I was looking into the Native Americans, and they're pretty much in open air prisons in the reserves, as they call them. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can. Sorry, we just muted the mic.
We're getting very professional, you see, when we're not talking, we mute the mic, and then it goes very quiet, and it seems to you that you're talking to nobody in the world, but actually you could be talking to quite a number of people without realizing it.
But yeah, the whole injustice seems to still be, still being carried out, and I don't know if people are not aware of it at all, but I'm pretty sure people are aware of the history. No one seems to really care that these people are pretty much still living under the same conditions that they were had imposed on them by the colonial powers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I know the same is true in Australia as well. The Aboriginal people of Australia are so maligned and marginalised and basically shat upon, having been already exterminated, genocided,
And the government doesn't take any accountability, not for today and not for the past, but in the same time, they are trying to enforce the same treaties they made with the natives 100 years ago, doing it in the
fraudulent treaties.
the same fraudulent ones, because that's something I went across with Tracy and Tudor and the natives and the Idle No More movement, and things Canada is doing, and basically saying, well, you have no say in it. This is between us and the Crown. You are just a treaty, so you are not a person, so you don't have anything to say in it at all, and that's how they downplay it.
Disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. And all these years later as well, centuries down the line, and still the same atrocities being played out.
Yep, same thing, and it's the same families that were doing the same thing 100 years ago that are doing it now. It's the same folks in the law and in the courts and higher up in the echelon in that way.
Yeah.
And you would think that at one point it would be obvious for people how they operate and how they misuse their powers and titles, because that's what they do. They change their head and their title, and that title gives them the right, the power to do whatever they want.
Do you know that there's a whole lot of islands of people, Diego Garcia, which is where the Americans have a big air base now. They cleared all the people off the island. First of all, they played all sorts of tricks on them to get them off the island, and first they went round and killed all their dogs. Now all of these people, their dogs were part of their family, and the message was, if you don't leave, you're going to be next. And they managed to clear everybody off these islands to places like Mauritius and so on, and that's been battling through the courts for 40 years.
Yeah.
And the court said yes, that was absolutely wrong, they shouldn't have done it and so on, but it was all done by royal decree.
Yeah.
And these people still don't have their islands back.
In the documents that were drawn up and that were passed by royal decree, it was declared that these islands were uninhabited. And yet there's been people living there for at least 6 generations before they were cleared, at least 6 generations.
So they're still doing it, and they'll do it over and over again until we get these terrible criminals out of power. And the criminal families that go back centuries, you've just got to look at something like the Bush family. It's dead obvious that they've been criminal.
I think there's one word that those lawyers and judges fear, because also Angela's husband is a lawyer, and he didn't respond to it because the magic word is nullification, to nullify something from court, making it totally gone and also not something you can come back to. And that's the thing the Indians and the natives should do. They should nullify the original treaties made, and in that way set them free, give them back the power they used to have, to choose their own destiny and future.
And we have a similar thing here in the UK with the Magna Carta as well. We can go back and nullify all of that and say, okay, do you want to fight for it all over again? Or shall we set up something more sensible?
Because otherwise it's just the same thing over again, and people are being distracted and tricked into it again, thinking it will help them. But if it's the same thing over again, you will get the same outcome.
Well, we've got to get away from hierarchical systems and centralized power. It's the only way to actually evolve beyond this, is if we evolve beyond hierarchy, beyond the need to be led or controlled or paternalized, and beyond centralized power, so that we each live in our own power and don't hand it over to some other bods somewhere.
But speaking of centralized power, Bob's just told us there's just 5 minutes left. So we should probably go around and see if anyone's got anything that they need to say before the end. Who's there? Dawn.
Hello. I don't have anything to say at the moment other than why does it keep going quiet? Really quiet, like no one's there. Are y'all muting as soon as I start speaking?
Yes, isn't it good?
So this eerie silence. Just as I start talking, I was like,
you're all listening in awe.
Whoa, you're all just perched in your seats, waiting for me to say something.
We're all listening in awe.
But on a serious note, no, sod serious. You were listening to Dark City Radio tonight, and we hope you got something positive out of it, some sort of therapy. Because I certainly did. Anybody else got anything else they want to add before we finish up?
If you go somewhere, take sanity with you, and then you spread the sanity among the people and polarize all the extremes that are out there.
I like it. I thought he said 70. Take 70 people with you. If you go somewhere, go with an army of 70. There's something you missed. I must have missed a memo. Yeah, brilliant. Anyway, we've got a couple of minutes left. It doesn't matter. We can play a jingle and finish it. Great night again. It was brought up about the Pope and stuff on yesterday's show by Dan, who brought that up again. We need to perhaps have a look at that and see if we can get that said gentleman back at some point. He did say he'd return. As Don told you, this is the Dark City. This was the Dark City show, and we're going to give you this jingle again, or one of the many versions of this jingle again, and return you to that an enormous 22-hour playlist we've now got up there. Anything else? Don't be afraid to join us. Get in. Come on. This is what it's about. This is the Dark City Radio, your radio, not our radio. Good evening.
This is not our radio. This is your radio. Dark City Radio.
Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. So if you want the truth, go to
Dark City Radio.
Things, yes, lots and lots of different things. There's chat, there's music, diversity, an occasional argument, for the warmongers.
I have to channel the spirit. All right, let's see here.
This is not our radio. This is your radio. Dark City Radio.
television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. So if you want the truth, go to
Dark City Radio.
God damn it!
Radio.
Hi, it's Rupert, and when my homosexual tendencies are at their height, I like to listen to the Dark City, because Barbara makes me feel pretty.
Tune in, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Dark City Radio, every evening, every afternoon, every morning, in fact, every moment of every day. There is chat, laughter, music, and excitement like you wouldn't believe on
Dark City Radio.
And he did this all on a waiter's salary, which practically nothing after taxes and drugs. I have to channel the spirit.
Yup, Dark City Radio's on. All sorts going on Dark City Radio.